Freddie says he's going to start going to the gym. And he makes his way there. But wait, what? He's on an electric scooter. What the fuck, Freddie? What are you doing? Okay, anyway, he gets to the gym and he doesn't even warm up. The first exercise he does, on the second rep, he starts to feel a little bit of pain, just a bit. And that completely turns him off. So he turns back, goes home, jerks off, and ends the day like that. Now, Apollo does the same thing as Freddy, but instead of taking the electric scooter, he goes by walking. He walks at a fast pace because he knows walking is the best way to burn calories without going into your other deposits, glycogen. Then eventually he arrives at the gym. He warms up properly to avoid injury and to get ready for a hard workout. He does either push, pull, or legs. And today's push day, so he pushes himself to the max and gets a new personal record. Apollo goes back home, has a healthy dinner, and sleeps a good 8 hours to end the day on a high note. This is going to be my guide to having a more attractive and aesthetic physique. Now, this is really important because whether females want to admit it or not, they are instantly turned on by a man who has a more attractive physique. And overall, over the world, there's one body type which defines attractive. Different people can decide what attractive means to them, but by majority, by extension, the body type of a footballer such as Cristiano Ronaldo is seen as the most attractive one. Not bodybuilding or the super skinny guys, or obviously not being obese, but having that sort of aesthetic lean look is going to get you the most respect and attention around the world. It's extremely important for males nowadays to be in great physical shape. And to be honest, it's always been. Like, there are no downsides or no disadvantages to having a good body. You're in top physical shape, you look good, you feel good, you get compliments, you get noticed, you get respect from your male peers. Not only that, but you also get attention from the opposite sex. And that's really, really important. So having a nice body is ultimately no downside and everything to gain. Let's get straight into this page. First of all, let's actually define what aesthetic means. An aesthetic body for a male is going to be having at the top being wider, much wider than the bottom. So it creates this Dorito shape, V shape as you go down. That's ultimately what you want to aim for. That's the most attractive physique. That's the most aesthetic physique. The ideal shoulder to waist ratio is 1.6, which means from shoulder to shoulder should be 1.6 bigger, like larger than your waist. Now, in terms of training, you're going to want to progressively overload, which means doing heavier weights, lifting heavier, using heavier weight on the machines as well. But you have to progressively do this over time. As you notice that the way you're currently using is getting easier, then you're going to have to add 2 more kilograms, a bit more. And then that's one way of progressively overloading though. There are other ways as well. There are 3 main ways, which are adding more weight, doing more reps, or doing the reps slower. Those are the 3 main ways. And the reason all of these work is because they all put tension on the muscle. And the more tension is on the muscle, the more it's going to grow and the stronger it's going to get. In terms of actually working out, I like to do push, pull, legs twice a week. So twice push, twice pull, twice legs. Then I recommend you have a rest day in between. My rest day varies. You can choose whichever one, but usually mine is Wednesday. I just thought you needed to know that. The most attractive muscles on a guy, statistically, as rated by females, you can go do your own research, by the way, because I just couldn't be asked to do it myself. But these, in order from most attractive to least attractive, these are the best looking muscles on a guy. At number 1, we have the shoulders. At number 2, we have the arms. At number 3, we have the chest. At number 4, we have the back. And at number 5, we have the glutes plus the legs. I guess upper body in general is the most attractive part of a man's body. This is probably because if you have a good upper body, you look more masculine. You look like you can lift heavier. You just look like you can be a better provider. You look stronger. You look more empowering, more masculine. All of that turns a female on. So that's probably why it's the most attractive body part. Now let's get into nutrition. In terms of nutrition, you're going to want to be consuming 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body mass. And you have to focus on organic foods, which give you good macronutrients and good amount of protein, so you can repair those muscle fibers and actually help your muscles get bigger in a shorter amount of time. So focus on meat, chicken, eggs, fish, leafy greens, nuts, flaxseed. All of these not only help your muscles recover quicker, but they also help your mental functions and other stuff. You want to try and limit the amount of cheap carbohydrates like white bread, pasta, because these just help get your mind foggy and they don't really help build muscle or provide any good function. I'm not saying cut them out completely, but let's say you're having rice or pasta. A healthier alternative is to have quinoa. Quinoa is much better as a carbohydrate because it's a slower release energy. Same as wholemeal bread. These carbohydrates release energy slower than other carbohydrates, which leads to you not getting that spike later on in the day, which plummets your energy and ultimately makes you feel lazier. If you're on a lean bulk, I'll recommend you do a 250 calorie surplus. And the same goes the other way. If you're trying to cut, then you should cut 250 calories from the usual amount which you usually take. To be able to monitor this like closely, you can use a calorie app like Cow AI or MyFitnessPal. These just allow you to track your calories much easier if you're like really focused. I don't personally count my calories. I just kind of have this intuitive sense and I just eat what's good for me. And obviously based on my goals, I know how much to eat and stuff. But if you need that, then go ahead if you want to be a true professional. Now, finally, the most important aspect, the most important component, piece of the pie for you to be able to get like a lean aesthetic look is to have the correct mindset. Shit doesn't come easy. Somewhere online, I saw that nowadays we have like the highest obesity rates in teenagers. It's getting bad. That means that being in good shape, looking attractive is more important than ever. That in itself should be endless motivation. The fact that the amount of people which have an aesthetic, lean, good, strong looking body is decreasing means that the males who actually have this are seen as an asset. The fact that males have an attractive body is going to increase the value if the amount of people who have attractive bodies is decreasing. That's how it's going to work. So that should be even more push for you to get a good body. I also want you to think long term. As I said, shit is not going to come easy. It's going to take time. You want to think long term because if you think short term, then you're just going to run out of motivation. You're going to think in terms of cheap dopamine and it's just not going to lead to good stuff. Stick to long term goals. I'm going to gain this amount of weight by the end of the month. Don't think in like weeks, think in months, think in a year, and have a concise plan, long term plan. Additionally, I do want to say, because of social media and everything you see online, you may get discouraged on your own journey because you see all of these like fucking jack fitness influencers like Alex Eubank. They have amazing bodies, yeah. You also have to remember a lot of these influencers and people online are on steroids. And even the ones that are not, always remember that they worked hard for it. It took them a long time. Shit didn't just come instantly. So don't get discouraged by them. If anything, let them encourage you. Let them show you that it's possible to have such a good looking physique. That should empower you and motivate you to go and get that. And I think it depends on how you think. If you're like an envious person, then I suggest turning the amount of time you spend on social media down. You should spend much less time on social media. But if you're the kind of person that looks at others and says, fuck yeah, that made me want to go to the gym, then I recommend you follow these people. And I'm not recommending you spend more time on social media because you probably shouldn't. But sure, if those people like fucking empower you and motivate you and make you feel like encouraged to go to the gym, then follow these fitness influencers. But only if they make you want to go to the gym, not if they have the reverse effect. Finally, I want you to remember who you're doing it for. Listen, some people don't have enough self-worth. Some people do not want it enough for themselves. So sometimes it's better to think, I'm going to look more like Superman for my kids. I'm going to look like a better husband. My woman's going to respect me more. Or if you're like me and you're very individual and you think in terms of yourself, then just think my younger self would think, fuck yeah, I want to look like a superhero. I want to look like a fucking monster. And just that should empower you. That should like give you enough drive to keep pushing every day, to go to the gym, to do harder sets, to put on heavier weight. You have to think of who you're doing it for. This is different for everyone, but if you're doing it for yourself, then think of yourself. Think of the times that you looked in the mirror and you didn't like what you were seeing. That shit should scare you so much that you should be going each and every single day non-stop. But yeah, that's my little piece of motivation, you know what I'm saying? If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay natty. Stay natty. Don't do testosterone. Don't do any of that weird shit. There's no need. It has all these negative side effects. Hair loss, shortens you. Just nothing really good to get out of it. Be patient, build yourself organically, and not only will you look better, not only will you be healthier, but you will feel better because that's delayed gratification. And you can be proud of that shit. You can get to the point where you say, yeah, I built this motherfucking house. That shit all by myself. Hell yeah. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye guys.